lot of the time that I spent in this process was based in discernment, if I was making the right choice, if I was following God's call for my life. And so that process, along with the process of being in school and working with CPM, it takes a lot of time to just make sure that you're on the right path.
It's significant, and it requires a lot of intentionality on the part of the candidate, on the part of their home congregation, on the part of the presbytery, on the part of the School of Divinity where the candidate is studying, all working together in different ways.
John mentioned that there are a lot of people in this process with you, but one group of people that I would say needs to be lifted up is your family, because they go on this journey with you as you're changing and evolving and becoming somebody that may be different than who you used to be. It's a revolutionary process. You feel totally different after the process. Outside of the academic work, there's a lot of personal spiritual work. So it's a lot of heart work. It's a lot of head work, but it has been rewarding. And I, for the most part, have enjoyed it. What I appreciate most about the process is the fact that you get a liaison from CPM. My liaison happened to be someone that I was very familiar with for about 8 years or so prior to coming into the process. And it really helped to have somebody that could just check in with you to see how things are going, if you're on track time-wise, or if you need to take more time for yourself, and just checking in with, just to make sure that, you know, you're okay. And so it's really good just to have somebody walking that journey with you and, you know, just being there with you through the process.
What I appreciate most about the ordination process in the PCUSA is that, you know, like many of the things we do, it's rooted in a corporate form of discernment. Part of what that means is that there's never a point in our process where a single gatekeeper determines whether or not the person is called to ministry or advances or doesn't advance. The trade-off in the Presbyterian approach is that there is a lot of complexity. There's a lot of process, a lot of paperwork, but it is, I think, a really good process. In terms of our own CPM, what I love about our committee members is that they're, I think, really invested in on the side of things that Jasmine described as the heart work. They really respond to the ways in which our folks who are under care are growing spiritually, personally, professionally. I mean, it's not just about checking off the boxes of requirements. We really want to see how they're developing towards ordained ministry. Jasmine's a great example of someone who, you know, who started with a pretty distinctive theological voice, but has also developed that in some really exciting ways. And we get to have the privilege of accompanying students like Jasmine on that journey.
You know, I have some very specific hopes for the process, and mainly because I am a Black woman, and so there aren't very many of us. My hopes are that the Presbytery will tap into the Black and minority ministers who are in the area, who have already gone through the process, to be mentors, just because it really helps when you have someone who looks like you, who knows your cultural background and understands where you're coming from. So it's just good to have someone who understands that. And I really would like for the Presbytery to work a little harder in that area. The people who are on CPM, the ones who I know outside of that process, are very caring people, want to see you succeed during the process. They're rooting for you to help you discern and move through the process and get you to the next step, or to help you decide what's next for you.
You know, I think the Salem Presbytery has a long tradition of being very invested in preparation for ministry and theological education. You know, I'm always impressed with the commitment that our leaders bring to the work of preparing folks for ministry, to the mentoring piece in particular, and you know, it's just a joy and a pleasure to have worked with the colleagues on this project. We do good work.